second graders at Strawbridge Elementary. It's Mrs. Graybill again. I'm here to talk to you today about another living thing. So I'm going to give you some hints. This creature lived a long time ago. It had 2 short arms, it had a tail, and it stood upright. And its name means giant lizard. Does that give you any hints? It is the megalosaurus. I bet you knew it was a dinosaur, at least based on those clues. Okay, so the megalosaurus. It was a large theropod dinosaur, and it was the first dinosaur skeleton to ever be found. And it was found by a man named William Buckland in 1676. And at first it was recognized just as a huge reptile, so we didn't know anything about dinosaurs. And with further studying and investigation and finding more dinosaurs, we found out that this is not just a reptile. This is a whole nother species. This is a dinosaur. The discovery of the megalosaurus changed the way scientists look at the Earth and the Earth's past forever. So we, as people and as scientists, learned that the Earth can give us so many clues about what happened in the past. And so the Earth and the soil is so crucial to finding out what more about our planet and about the species that have lived here millions of years before us. So this dinosaur, the megalosaurus, was up to 20 feet tall and weighed 1,500 pounds. So it was somewhat short with strong arms and sharp, hook-like claws on its 3 fingers, perfectly designed to rip apart its prey. It would slash it with its powerful claws. Its powerful hind legs were good for hunting down prey, so you can see how muscular and strong they look. They certainly look like they can run quickly, cover some ground. The tail in most theropods is used to help with balance, so that's its only purpose. Take a good look at the tail. To date, no complete fossilized remains have ever been found from a megalosaurus, so we've never been able to piece a full skeleton together ever. However, we have good information to know this is about what a megalosaurus looks like. And of course, with all dinosaurs, we guess their skin color because we've never seen a megalosaurus or have a photograph of a true megalosaurus or any dinosaur in real life. So we take some educated guesses as scientists as to what the skin color might be like. Probably blended in with its environment. We know some information about the weather based on some things we can find within the soil. I know you're studying weather, so soil gives information about what has lived there. There's lots of different instruments and ways to find out about weather. So we, make some guesses based on what the environment was and what the skin color might be. Okay, so scientists have learned a lot about weather based on fossils of the past. So I'm going to dig deeper. Instead of focusing on dinosaurs, I'm going to dig deeper into the Earth because I know you're studying weather. And part of being on Earth is that we have weather, and that's really actually kind of unique that we have weather. So I'm going to transition to talking about the Earth now. Lots of topics in this book. I'm going to read this book, and then in our next video, I'll read a little bit more about storms and hurricanes. Today we're going to talk about planet Earth. Table of contents, which of course is a nonfiction text feature. Each topic and which page it's on, and then of course what page the index is on. Okay, so now we're kind of zooming out a little bit here. You live on Earth, one of the 8 planets that move around the sun. Here's Earth. That's where you live. Scientists think that the Earth is the only planet with anything living on it. So as far as we know, Earth is the only place with living with life. All about Earth. Things can live on Earth because it has the right mixture of heat, air, and water, which we talked about in our last video where we talked about the water cycle. The sun keeps the planet warm. Living things, people, animals, and plants all need air to breathe. Over half of the Earth is covered in water, and we found out in the last video actually closer to 75% of the Earth is covered in water, and of that 75%, almost all of it is ocean. All living things need water to stay alive. The middle of the planet is called its core. It is very, very hot here. Around the core is the mantle. The rocks here are so hot that they are slightly squishy. The mantle is covered with a thin layer of solid rock called the crust. Moving Earth. The Earth's crust is made up of pieces. The pieces of crust slot together around the Earth. Very, very slowly, the pieces of crust move around. The place where the pieces slide past each other is called a fault. Pieces of crust can move slowly along a fault, but sometimes they get jammed. Jammed pieces can suddenly start to slip past one another. The land above trembles and cracks, and this is called an earthquake. Big earthquakes can destroy buildings and tear up roads. There are even earthquakes on the moon. These are technically called moonquakes. I'm going to move my chair a little bit here. See a little bit better. Okay, mountain high. Here we have a heading. Bing, 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 nonfiction text feature. As the crust moves, it slowly pushes some of the land up into tall rocky mountains. The mountains in this picture are the Alps in Europe. It took millions of years for them to get this tall. Some mountains, such as the Himalayas, are growing taller every single year. Mountain peaks stay snowy because the air is cold up high, so mountain goats need thick coats to keep them warm. Volcanoes. Here's a heading. Hot rock from the mantle can creep up through cracks in the crust and escape onto the land as a volcano. This is a volcano erupting. The hot rock that escapes is called lava. Here we have a caption. Some people in Hawaii think that the goddess of fire lives in a volcano. Volcanoes erupt in different ways. Violent eruptions fling ash and gas high into the sky. Sometimes volcanoes throw up lumps of hot, sticky lava. Some volcanoes spray runny lava from a long crack in the ground. Rock around the world. All the land on Earth is made of rock. There are 3 main types of rock. Metamorphic rock has been cooked deep in the Earth's crust where it's very hot. Igneous rock forms when lava from a volcano cools to the air and turns it hard. Sedimentary rock is made from layers of mud or sand pressed together. The different layers in this rock make it look striped. Jewels such as diamonds, rubies, and emeralds are found inside rock. Caption. Heading, running rivers. When it rains or snows on the mountains, the hard rock cannot soak up all the water. Water trickles down from the high ground into a small stream. Lots of streams join together to make a big river. The river flows downhill all the way to the sea. A fast-flowing river picks up lots of stones and pebbles from the riverbed. When the river slows down, it drops the heavier stones, but also carries small pebbles. As the river gets near the sea, it slows down so much that it drops almost everything. The Nile in Africa is the longest river in the world, and it is so big, it can even be seen from space. That's kind of amazing. Wearing away. Rivers change the shape of the land as they flow over it. A river flows over the land, picking up stones and soil from the ground. The stones bump along the riverbed, wearing away a groove in the land. Over many years, the river carves a valley into the ground below. This is called the Grand Canyon in the United States. It took millions of years for the river to wear away this deep gorge. Wow. Underground caves. Woo! How many of you have been to Shenandoah to the Luray Cavern? It's very interesting. If you have, it looks just like this. Not all rivers, okay, so here's a heading, underground caves. Not all rivers flow over the land. Some flow under it. Rivers that flow underground can wear away the rocks to make caves. Stalactites hang from the roofs of caves. Stalagmites grow up from the floor. So these are stalagmites, and these are stalactites coming from the ceiling. And yes, sometimes they meet. Stalactites and stalagmites are built up over thousands of years from tiny grains of rock carried into the cave by dripping water. Some caves have paintings on the walls that were made thousands of years ago. Cold as ice. Heading. Some of the Earth's water stays frozen as ice for most of the year. Antarctica is the coldest place in the world. The land is covered with snow and icebergs float in the sea. Ice spreads from the land and floats on the sea. The sea moves up and down, causing the ice to crack. The crack gets bigger until a block of ice breaks off, and then the block floats away in the sea as an iceberg. In Antarctica, it gets so cold in the winter that even the sea freezes. That's pretty amazing. Because typically running water is difficult to freeze, very difficult. Coast. The coast is where the land meets the sea. Sand is made from broken up shells and rocks. The sea grinds the pieces into tiny grains, then washes them ashore. Waves crash against the sides of a cliff, wearing the rock away into an arch. The top of the arch falls into the water, leaving a stack standing in the sea. This is one of the stacks right there. Have you ever seen something like this? Some beaches have black sand made from volcanic rock. The earth is so interesting. Heading, deep water. Oceans and seas cover more than half of the earth. Many different things live there. Lots of creatures live near the surface, where it is light and the water is warm. Deeper down, it is darker and colder. Fewer things can live there. Sperm whales dive deep down looking for squid to eat. Scientists use submarines like this one to dive deep into the sea and explore the ocean floor. Some deep sea fish glow in the dark to attract small fish. Then they eat them. Dusty deserts. Deserts are the dirtiest places on earth. Very little rain falls and the land is dry and dusty. The Sahara Desert in Africa is one of the biggest deserts in the world. Even in the desert, water is trapped in rocks underground. Over a long time, the water builds up and forms a pool. Plants grow near the pool. This is called an oasis. And people who travel across deserts often stop at the oasis. Desert animals stay underground during hot days. So this is kind of like a flashback to our chipmunk friend, remember? Underground during hot days and come out for food to find at night. Extraordinary Earth. Planet Earth is an amazing place. Greenland is the largest island in the world. Angel Falls, Venezuela is the world's tallest waterfall. It is 3,212 feet high. Some parts of the Atacama Desert in Chile went without rain for 400 years. Mount Everest is the highest place in the world. It is 29,035 feet high. The deepest part of the Marianas Trench is about 11,000 meters underwater. That's pretty cool. Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth. It once reached negative 89 degrees Celsius or negative 128 degrees Fahrenheit, which is very, very cold. So Earth is amazing. We all know how great Earth is. And of course, here is your glossary. A fault is a place where two pieces of crust meet. An eruption is when hot rock escapes onto the land from a volcano. Lava is red hot melted rock. A gorge is a deep valley. An iceberg is a big block of ice that floats on the sea. A desert is a place where there is very little rainfall in a year, and an oasis is a pool in the desert. I'm right at 14 and a half minutes, and I have to stay under 15 in order to be able to fit my video on YouTube. So I'm going to get going, but I will see you guys soon. And next time, I'm going to talk to you about another living thing, and we're going to talk about storms and hurricanes. So I'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.